Everybody says follow the money. That's the slogan. Follow the money, right? But to me, you can know exactly where the money went and have no idea how that decision happened. Like you going through the investigation, you going through the audit, or you check this athlete made $2 million. Like, okay, we follow the money, $2 million, but it's like how they get to that number, where it came from. And I tell this to agents all the time because they'll say, well, this school offered this much. I'm like, okay, that's cool. That's not this school because this school is not offering that. You can't compare apples and oranges. And in this rare share space, in this NIL space, it is definitely apples and oranges. It's a whole fruit basket because every school is different. You have no idea how they got to the offer. And what happened was when the settlement went through and they said, okay, all schools have $20.5 million dollars to share across all sports. Every agent thought, they got the money. It's 20 million dollars. They got it. No, they don't. They have 17 sports. Like we talking about. They don't have the $20 million for this sport, $20 million for this sport. And that's not how that worked. But the amount of phone calls I got when it was like, man, I know they got it, man. They don't have it. Like that's not the team don't have this money, but the headlines are saying, oh, well, such has got this much money. Such has built this roster number. It's $40 million roster, and it's like, well, if they got 40 million and they only got this, we gonna go over there. Okay, you follow the money, you gonna realize that a lot of that 40 is not going to everybody. You look at one question that I probably would have asked when it's all kicked off was, what percentage of the roster is actually getting paid? Because you can have a $20 million roster with 10 people getting paid. Then what? Because that number is going to be way higher because there's less people getting paid. If you're saying, okay, well, this team is more favorable because they're compensating everybody, well, that means this team is going to have lower numbers on the average, but it's a well-rounded team and it's a happier team because almost everybody's getting paid. How many sports are they paying? Okay, are they paying just football? Are they paying women's basketball, men's basketball? Are they bringing in baseball? So you looking at it like, okay, you following the money. You can't just look at that the individual athlete. You can't just say, well, he's getting this. Yes, he's getting that, and there's only 8 more guys on the team getting paid too. So that's why the numbers are big. He wouldn't get that if it was 60 guys getting paid. Like people don't look at the comparisons in a way that makes sense. They're just looking at the headline. Well, this school paid this guy this much money. This school paid this guy this much money. Well, they don't pay high because, I heard he only getting this offer. Yeah, but they got 3 people on their team who can actually play ball. They got 30 guys on their team who can actually play ball. Who you think go win more games? Them 3 or these 30? That's depth. Depth wins. 3 stars. It's great. So you guys start looking at the why do you want to go to this team? Am I choosing this team because they pay the most? Well, that means you probably don't really want to win because if all the money is tied up in to 4 or 5 PPP on people, you're one injury away from season being over with. Yet on this team, yeah, the numbers may be lower on average, but you win, which winning brings in more dollars, which you can get more money later. So your representation matters too. Like you really can't just be around people who are following the money headlines and not digging deeper and figuring out why these numbers are bigger here. Because I was straight up asked like, okay, well, you offering him 3 million. How many guys on the team getting paid? I don't want to know how much they getting paid. Just tell me how many y'all paying. Cause that's gonna tell me how this season gonna go. Because if you tell me it's 10 people on a football team, yeah, I don't think this is a good move, man. Because y'all won't win. unless you come in here just for the check. Now we're asking questions that have nothing to do with the headline. I was like, okay, well they offering 2 million, they offering 850, 1.5. Okay, cool. But they paying 30 guys. They only paying 10. And you look at the math, they really ain't got no money. Because if they only got enough money to pay 10 people, they really don't have a lot of money. If they have enough money to pay 30 guys, with there's a lot that goes into being able to pay more than 10 people. So my thinking is money, the check is the decision of record, right? It's like, okay, we know he got 200,000 or 2 million, but it don't explain how they got there though, because I don't care how much. If you're only paying 4 people on the team, oh, we in trouble. Especially if it's in like a weird position, like 4 receivers and 1 lineman. Yeah, we in trouble, though. We ain't got no quarterback. We ain't got no cornerback. We ain't got no linebackers. We just hit. And I do think that money like has evidence of, at least they want to pay, but you can't just say follow the money and go with the highest bidder if you haven't understood how that money became what it became. That's why the headlines, man, they frustrate me like crazy because it's always somebody saying some crazy stuff like, oh, such and such is valued at $4 million. That's why he left and went to this school. I'm just like, okay, so if he went there for 4 million, and then y'all said that he went there for 3 million, then y'all said that he went there for 4 million, then y'all said that he went there for. They don't really have that deep of a team, so everybody is not there for $4 million. Everybody's valuation isn't getting hit at these schools, so the headlines is one of those things where it's like, oh, okay, all noise, because there's not a smart team in college or in pros who is sinking all of their dollars in 2 or 3 people. And if you are, that's a whole nother situation. But because you gotta think about all the invisible things. Who didn't get paid? I'm sitting in the locker room and I'm like, man, my agent only asked for 100,000. I can't get 100,000, but he over here and he just bought a new bag. I just saw him got a new car, and they living nice. And all I asked was for, how soon do you think your locker room changes? So you gotta start asking these things where it's like, all right, if y'all only paying 7 people, and my client happens to get the big bag, am I really looking out for my client because I want him to, one, get the best deal, which includes more than $1. I want him to be happy, and I want him to be in a locker room where it's a brotherhood for real, and I want him to win. If I'm only getting one piece out the deal, am I really doing a really good job for my client? Am I really doing a really good job for this kid that I'm recruiting? Because I was set across from the kid and even from the school side and say, hey man, like we want to show you that we value you. Here's our truth. Here's on the table. We're paying this much because we're building a real team. We're bringing in guys who can do X, Y, Z to make sure that you ain't the one that's carrying the whole team. We believe in your health. We want to make sure you're healthy for the whole season. We don't want you carrying the whole team and being injured. So yes, could we go to the top of your ceiling for an offer? Sure. That's going to require you to do a lot more work. And that's real life. That has nothing to do with sports. That is real. If I'm paying you at the top, you're gonna earn that. And you can't take a day off. You can't say, well, this ain't what I signed up for. It actually is what you signed up for. Once you took that check, you was like, I'm signing up forever. I'm ready to die behind this. I know how the football players. I'm ready to die for this coach. Like, all right, let's put your money where your mouth is. So, and I think like in the real world, right? Because for some reason, this whole college athletic space, all these adults and these professionals seem to act like the real world doesn't exist. They just wake up and say, you know what? All the real world logic at my current job, I'm gonna throw it out the window when it comes to college athletics because they deserve all the money. Okay, so you want your athlete to make more than your coworker, but don't do no work, don't do anything to earn it, and you think you did a good job. You think you went and got a good deal. The lifespan of an athlete, even on a pro side, is what, 2.5, 3 years? You went and chased the money, had no plans on what happens after the contract is signed. He's on a terrible team. He's not playing. He's not performing. He doesn't continue playing past the college level. He doesn't go to the league. All his money is gone. He goes and try to find a regular job, and you just moved on to the next athlete. That's why I don't understand how these people are saying that they're getting the best deal because they heard such and such got XYZ. That's not that guy. You got a football team has 105 athletes on it. That's 105 different scenarios. That's 105 different situations. That's 105 different contracts. That's 105 different outcomes. When only 2% of the athletes make it pro, I'm looking at this roster and it's pretty terrible. I'm like, well, y'all, none of y'all gonna be a part of the 2%. So if the objective was to just chase the headline and get the big number, cool. Set your guy up for success because y'all already sold on the future. Y'all sold the future for the present. Cool. Just you gonna make sure you maximize it now. Put everything in place. You got budget, taxes, investments, and all these things because you sold the future for right now because you chased what you heard and you ain't go a layer deep. So your level of management or agency or representation or governance or whatever you guys are doing didn't go past the headline because you followed the money. You followed the headline. You ain't followed the money. Because if you would have followed the money, you would have understood all the things that went into that. And you probably would have realized that chasing the headline is going to allow me to follow the money for 1 year. One. Then what? He ain't got no feeling transfer. He ain't play. So where is he going next? And can you help him get to the next spot? No. And as a team, if you're gonna say, okay, we're gonna hedge our season on these guys right now, you better do one hell of a job coaching. Because if I'm saying we're going all in on these 10 better be the most well-rounded people, pass all medical, all mental, all academics. Them 10 have to be the best of the best cream of the crop because you invested so much in there. So when I talk about the following the money has nothing to do with dollar signs. It's what are all the decisions that led up to the dollar sign? Most people aren't focusing on that. They don't care about that piece because it's not sexy. I got my guy $2 million deal. Great. That was his last one too. It's over with. And I hope you had a really good commission. Good for you. That's it. Tell me what happened the next year. So when I think about the whole follow the money, nobody's following the money. Everybody's chasing the money. And I rather chase the decisions that's made around the money. Because when I understand why this was made, every dollar will be a higher value when you look at the cost of the money, because money costs, right? So I don't really, everybody wants to become a financial expert as soon as somebody gets a new contract. Everybody become a wizard and a guru. It's like, all right, bro, you got it. So for me, the more I spend time in athletics space, the more times I want to understand how they got to the number. Social media is one piece, but I don't follow the money from a headline. I follow it from the decision making process because you don't know if it's going to sustain or not. That's how I live life.